Well, welcome back to another episode of Unlocked, and this one I have a lot of passion about, and that's calling deer. And there's a lot more to it than just calling. It's when to do it, what type of call. Is it a snort wheeze? Is it a grunt? And then watching the body language of the animal to tell you when you want to start throwing the kitchen sink at them. You know, and you had a hunt this past fall that without that tool and without you recognizing that moment, you don't tip them over.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's really fun, being able to learn for so many years and study and watch and educate yourself about calling, but then to put it all into practice on a live animal, a mature deer, a mature deer. Man, it was really cool. So I'm happy to be able to reference that hunt and take away some of the points, and hopefully somebody can take something from this.
There's a lot of key takeaways, in my opinion, to this, because we got to see through this hunt itself the reaction to the call. And every situation is incredibly different, from the topography, from the setup, what's behind you, from the wind, from the distance, from the calls that you're throwing at, from the timing of the year in particular too, to that first reaction that you get. So it's hard to capture, every scenario in this, but breaking it down, Max, I think even if you hadn't, let's say, made the shot, the animal didn't die, I think you went through the progressions from first encounter to kind of like slowly escalating the situation, the scenario, understanding what he was going through, but understanding then what calls to apply to that. I think you really nailed it. And so I think we should walk through from like start to finish of that scenario, why you did what you did based on the reactions, and then kind of escalating the scenario.
Yeah. So just to get things started, first thing in the morning, already, as you can tell from the audio and looking around the footage, pretty breezy that morning. And we're talking high teens at daylight. So certainly breezy. That's going to play into a lot of this as a big factor. And like you said, the progression. Then the setup, too. Setup and calling, in my experience, which is still on the younger side, the setup is everything. To be able to perform the calls and to know what calls and when, that is, in my opinion, maybe half the battle or less. The setup is everything. Being able to be in a situation, as you can see from the hunt here, where it's really hard for a deer to get downwind of you. Biggest takeaway I have.
Especially when you go in the calling sequence.
100%, exactly. Yeah. Because what is that deer? What is a mature deer? Even a more immature deer, what is the first thing they're going to do?
Especially when they can't see the animal.
100%.
You see it when you're decoying, they still circle downwind. But when they can't see the animal, they know where the point of origin of sound is. They have to. That's their other way of knowing what the situation. Breaking down the scenario for them is, I have to use my nose.
Yes.
If you don't give them that option, then they get into with the range.
Yes. But I think a key to this of your sequence, and I want you to jump in if I'm wrong here, but you had eyeballs on the deer.
Yeah. First things first.
Yeah.
Eyeballs
on the deer, which is obviously, in my opinion, number one. I'm not a big blind caller guy. I know guys do it. I'm not a fan of it for one reason. It's called education, and education your herd.
That is the reasoning, because they're going to go downwind.
Yes, exactly.
And you're never going to see them.
No.
Yep.
And when you identify and you see them, then in your case, I believe he had lost a doe in the cornfield.
That's right. So standing corn, as Matt touched on, visibility is very low.
Right.
Horns over his head.
Can't see.
For the animal.
Yeah.
You're seeing into it fine.
And it's funny, you can tell. You can really see it once I start to call, but even prior, he's in full panic already. There's a doe.
But you're reading his body language to recognize that, knowing that he lost his doe, and I believe your first call was a doe bleep, right?
First call would have been a grunt.
Oh, it was a grunt.
Yep, because prior to that, I didn't really know. With the wind, Spencer and I, the camera guy, were not able to communicate. I didn't even know he lost a doe. Only my camera guy at this point knows this. So my first instinct is, in that progression, at least for me personally, my first thing is a grunt. Let's check his attitude. To me, that is exactly what a soft grunt is.
Take the temperature.
Attitude check.
A contact grunt is what some people call that, where you're just like, let's make contact and see what.
Let me see. First of all, can he even hear me in the wind that's going? That, like, if you can hear the footage and watch it, I think I had to try multiple times. A soft one. Can he hear that? Okay. Then let's try another one before we can even get that temperature check.
Right.
So you just keep escalating the volume.
Yeah, I want to see, how does he respond to in my experience and my knowledge, what is the most basic sound? I'm not going to go crazy into this whole thing and start challenging it with a wheeze.
Right.
But you have to increase the volume.
Exactly.
I've seen that a lot, even like with calling for turkeys, where it's like just because you make the sound does not mean they hear it.
That's exactly right.
And so you start low and then you build up, and then you'll know if they hear it.
Yeah.
You see those ears pin, and for this animal,
demeanor changes.
Snaps that head.
He snaps his head and then turns his body.
Yep.
And then, there's still that indecisiveness from the animal. It's not like you made contact and he commits. He's switching back and forth because he can't see the doe. He wants the doe.
Yes.
But he's trying to figure out, is the doe over where I just heard a buck grunt?
Yep.
But no, she was right here. So you get to see it play out back and forth.
And I think you can make a lot of mistakes very early in calling. Is you can immediately start over-calling. Because like for this, I get his attention. I could have just kept calling if I was a little more experienced. I could have ruined the whole thing. Let's take his temperature. Let's see how he responds first. Let's give him something very similar to turkey hunting. I derive all of my calling experience. I owe it all basically to turkey hunting. Let's see, how does he respond to this base level? As you can see from the footage.
Because once his head whipped around, had you continued to call, he could have pinpointed
exactly right. I got his attention. He heard something, and he knows what he heard. So let's see. And obviously,
he's
see
not
the calling.
going, was that a woodpecker? Was that
exactly
he's going, that was a buck grunt.
Yep.
Where was it? And now you go, okay, you dangled the carrot, now you pulled it away. So he's like, I got to hunt that buck.
So we start to see the aggression already. Regardless of what's happening with the doe, we see the pawing. We know. Everybody's sitting. We know he's pissed.
Yep.
He knows maybe there's a doe, maybe there's not. Somebody else in my area. I'm somewhat being challenged, or another deer is trying to let me know I'm here.
And then at the same time, in his head, you can assume, I lost that doe.
Yep.
Does that buck grunting? Now does he have my doe? Oh, and now I'm mad.
But I think that's the key part that Max played really well, is he threw out that grunt and then he sat back and waited.
Yes.
He let the deer create his own mess.
Yes, the deer has a brain. His thoughts are running through his head. Where's that doe?
You could see him just kind of whether it was pawing, raking on the corn, or just kind of just doing a little figure eight inside the corn. He didn't know what to do, and he played it well. And just let him. You know what? I'm going to drive this guy crazy, and certainly he's got to make a move.
Yes,
and I think that's the main difference I want to pull out of this, and for people listening, is most times the hunter gets panicked.
Oh,
you get to see this deer get panicked, but you didn't overreact.
100%.
He didn't full commit right away. No. You just soft played it and escalated it, and then you see him
an error that could have been made would have been the next progression. We see calling progress too quickly. Soft grunt, loud grunt, roaring type grunt, and then it's like, okay, he's coming. No, he's turning back. I'm going to snort wheeze at him.
In a matter of 30 seconds, not minutes.
Yep.
The only time you start escalating volume and different calls is when they start going away from you. That's when you change. If he's just here, just in a circle, and he's just pondering, let him ponder. And then when he makes his decision, then you react. Right? Because if he's going to go away, and that's what happened. He started walking away.
Kind of lost interest.
He lost interest.
He's thinking that maybe that doe is still the last direction.
Yep. And then you hammered again.
Yeah, so then we go to a louder grunt, I believe, just one more temperature check. Okay, now he's really talking to me over there. And then I think he goes to turn away even again, and so that's when I institute the first snort wheeze, and as you can see, he snort wheezes right back.
Yep.
So at this point, I can't imagine what's going on in his brain. Like, this son of a gun over there is really toying with you. But then for the third or fourth time, he turns to leave.
Yes.
So that's the last time, it's like, fourth and long. I'm almost to the point in that sequence where I'm ready to be done with it. We've all seen it in the past. Sometimes they don't come right away.
No.
Could have been a half hour later, an hour later. He
circles
come back.
downwind, tries to
throw out my fourth and long, my last one. I'm not going to rattle. I'm not going to do anything to potentially risk the whole day ahead of me of targeting this deer. So we throw out a couple of doe bleats, and as you can see, I mean, that's it. He's like, the doe's gone. This joker's over here challenging me. She's over there. Let's do this thing. I mean, on a
you
string.
laid out the scenario perfectly. Contact, intimidate, if you will.
Not a ton of calling.
Max identified his concerns. His concern is, where was my doe? He couldn't find it. Then he played the buck that was by. Obviously, Max is the buck. Let jealousy work. So now he did throw the doe bleep out. So now he's like, 1 and 1 equals 2. There's my doe. I have a buck. I need to go solve this problem.
And let's even look at the setup. Wind in my face. He's in the standing corner, so he can't see. I got the wind. There's a fence in between us. But there's also a deep creek right behind me. I mean, literally off the back of the tree. It falls off.
He can't get downwind.
Odds are he's not going to want to try to cross that to get downwind. It's just a little bit too much trouble for the scenario. So
and you haven't called
it's
enough
already
for
in
him
my
to
favor.
absolutely pinpoint you either.
Right.
Yep.
And when he does commit, he gets to a point through the corn to where he breaks the barrier of the corn and can look through the timber where you're at.
Yep.
And when he doesn't see what he thinks he should see, he turns.
Yep.
Yeah.
He committed just enough to
What was it,
investigate.
like 15, 17 yards?
I think it's 12 to 14 when I actually
And it's
ranged
too
it.
late.
Yeah.
Yeah, at that time, works that scrape right there on the fence and then turns to leave. Fortunately, at that point, I had my shot. But if I didn't have my shot at that point, there's a really good chance that would have been it. That's a lot to try to get.
I think not only in this calling thing is what I was impressed. The minute he committed, is the minute you got your bow ready.
Yeah,
you were standing there ready to rock.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys wait too long, right? And then they get handcuffed. And that whole knowing, get that thing ready to go before he's inside of that bow range.
doubt.
If he's committed, he's
Absolutely.
coming.
Yeah, and you know what? He's looking. When he's coming,
He's looking.
He's trying to figure out what's going on.
Right, so you
That's
better be
right.
prepared.
That's right.
I think it was handled perfectly. A lot of great takeaways from this unlocked that people can apply to their own hunt situation.
Calling comes down to location first, and then progressing into it later.
Yeah.
Not
Reading
going to
body
aggress.
language.
Yep.
Don't
Yep.
forget that.
Yeah.
You got to read the body language. You got to
Yeah.
be able to see that deer and making those calls and making those adjustments because you don't want to overcall, you don't want to undercall.
Yeah.
But when you make a call, you just watch that body language and make your adjustments. But for more on Max's hunt, head over to our Hunt Collective and check out how this whole thing goes down and the sequences. I personally love it because I love whitetails, but how you guys captured it and got it all on film. It's a really enjoyed, fun hunt to watch.